If you had asked Barcelona fans at the start of the season which player they wanted to sell first, the answer would have been unanimous: Raphinha. He was nothing more than a name on a list of departures, not because he was the worst player, but because he was the only one young enough and valuable enough to bring in serious money. Barcelona needed to sell, and he was to sacrifice. The signs were everywhere. They were already printing Nico Williams' name on the number 11 shirt, as if Raphinha was already gone. After an impressive Euro where Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams had shined, the fans were convinced Williams should take his place. Raphinha wasn't just unwanted, he was erased. And yet, months later, those same fans who wanted him out now call him their best player. They argue about his Ballon d'Or chances. How did this happen? How did the player no one wanted become the one Barcelona couldn't afford to lose? But that was always the case for Raphinha. From the very beginning, he was overlooked, doubted, and told he wasn't good enough. Too skinny, too weak. At least that's what the big clubs in Brazil thought when they rejected him time and time again. He tried out for Flamengo and others, but the answer was always the same. While other kids his age were getting picked up by major academies, Raphinha was playing in local tournaments where the crowds were as dangerous as the tackles. He spent entire days away from home, playing on the streets, sometimes asking strangers for food.
Algumas vezes eu já precisei parar pessoas na rua para pedir uma ajuda, alguma coisa, lanche, alguma coisa para comer, e tu acaba sendo visto como.
But there was one moment that changed everything. His father was invited to a birthday party, Ronaldinho's birthday party. It wasn't just about meeting his idol. It was about seeing what football could give you. The love, the respect, the life. That was the night Raphinha made a decision. He wasn't going to be another kid with potential that went nowhere. He was going to make it. Brazilian clubs didn't want him, but Portugal did. Deco, the former Barcelona legend, saw something in Raphinha and brought him to Vitória Guimarães. A new country, a new league, a new chance, and he took it with both hands. He tore through defenders in Portugal, earning a move to Sporting CP, where he formed a deadly partnership with Bruno Fernandes. His ability to glide past defenders, his hunger to prove himself, it was clear he was different. But even then, he wasn't seen as a future superstar, just another Brazilian winger with flair. Then came France. Stade Rennais took the gamble, and Raphinha repaid them. 8 goals, 7 assists, but his game wasn't just about the numbers. It was about moments, the impossible dribbles, the relentless work rate, the fight. He wasn't a luxury player, he was a warrior. The Premier League started taking notice, and then Marcelo Bielsa called. Bielsa didn't offer promises, just 20 minutes to decide if he wanted to play for Leeds United or not. Raphinha didn't hesitate. It was England or nothing. In 2 years at Leeds, he became a fan favorite. 12 goals, 17 assists, but more than that, he was the spark that kept them alive. The 2021 season finale, Leeds' survival on the line. Raphinha stepped up. He wasn't just a flashy winger anymore. He was a player who carried teams.
Raphinha. Yeah!
Chelsea came calling. 67 million euros, a massive offer.
Chelsea and Leeds have reached full agreement for Raphinha. Official bid accepted, around 60 to 65 million pounds, add-ons included. Main part of amount to be paid immediately. It's done between the clubs.
But Raphinha had already made up his mind. He was always gonna be Barcelona, the club of his idol, the dream. When Raphinha arrived at Barcelona in 2022, the expectations were sky high. He wasn't just another signing, he was a statement. The club was struggling financially, but they fought to get him. He had to deliver. His first season, 10 goals, 12 assists, decent, but something wasn't right. Xavi had him playing out of position. He preferred Dembele on the right. He was shackled, his natural game restricted, and the fans, they turned on him fast. He's average, he's not Brazilian, he's not good enough for Barcelona. Every bad game was another excuse to write him off. Injuries, tactical changes, and the pressure of replacing players like Dembele made his first year a nightmare. By the time the 23-24 season arrived, the writing was on the wall. Barcelona needed money, and Raphinha was the easiest sacrifice. But then, something crazy happened. In a crazy unexpected transfer, Dembele left Barcelona for PSG, and funny enough, it was the Barcelona-PSG game in the Champions League that changed the way Barcelona fans looked at Raphinha forever. The Champions League quarterfinals, Barcelona versus PSG. Xavi made a surprising call. Raphinha on the left and a 16-year-old Yamal on the right. A role Raphinha wasn't used to. It was risky, but he delivered. Scoring against PSG 2 goals in the first leg, running riot. He was everywhere, pressing, creating, and the second leg, he scored again. Barcelona were on their way to a Champions League semi-final. And then, disaster. Araujo sent off. The game flipped. Barcelona should have won, but they didn't. But something had shifted. Everybody saw what Raphinha could do in big moments. So did Barcelona. Xavi was out, Hansi Flick was in, and from day one, there was no doubt. Flick believed in Raphinha. He gave him freedom. Not just a winger stuck on the right, but a player who could roam. A free roll from the left, cutting inside, playing through the middle when needed. And something else changed. The captain's armband. Not officially, but in spirit. Raphinha was leading. And this wasn't new. Since his first day at Barcelona, he had always been the hardest worker. Always running, always pressing, even when he was benched. He never complained. He never hid. He was always at a minimum a 7 out of 10. And now, under Flick, that work ethic had turned into dominance. 38 games, 24 goals, 18 assists, hat-tricks against Bayern Munich, a brace in the Super Cup final against Real Madrid, a last-minute winner against Benfica. Barcelona's best player, no more doubts. A year ago, he was the man Barcelona were desperate to sell. Now, he's in the Ballon d'Or conversation. The only real challenge is Mohamed Salah. The two wingers, both relentless, both carrying their teams, both at their prime. Some still doubt Raphinha. They say he's not on that level, that he's not Ballon d'Or material. But let's be real, it's still early. How many times have we seen players get early Ballon d'Or shouts, only to fade away by the time the trophies are handed out? Mbappe is still in the race. Real Madrid could win the Champions League, Liverpool too. And in some crazy twist, even someone like Ousmane Dembele could lift it if PSG keep up their form. This isn't a campaign for Raphinha to win the Ballon d'Or. It's just insane that we're even having this conversation. A guy who wasn't a superstar in Brazil, who had to fight for survival at Leeds, who wasn't even a guaranteed starter at Barcelona when he arrived. Now he's leading one of the biggest clubs in the world. A relentless presser, a creative force, a goal scorer. Nobody would have predicted this, but here we are.